Are we finally going to see a main event Big Jimmy Uso main event run in WWE? I hope so. Welcome to Allison Analysis. I'm Ben Allison and I've analysed last night's episode of Friday Night SmackDown and here are my 5 key findings. Before we get into them, if you could leave a like and comment, that would be massively appreciated as always. In at number 5, I genuinely believe Carmella Hayes is an AJ Styles regen. Over the years, we've seen so many people compared to AJ Styles, from Kenny Omega to Will Ospreay. Everybody loves to call Ospreay the next AJ Styles, but genuinely the closest I've seen is Carmella Hayes. In every single match you see him in, you can just see the AJ Styles influence. And while his match against LA Knight on SmackDown wasn't overly long, I mean, for the time it was brilliant. In fact, honestly, it might be one of my favourite LA Knight matches to date. The reversals between the two were off the charts. I mean, there was so many back and forths in this, and it was just incredible. The athleticism was just off the charts. And of course, LA Knight deserves credit for that. But Carmella Hayes was really the one to me who showed up and showed out. I really would love for Carmella Hayes on the main roster in 2025 to get a main event push. I truly would, because of course this year, they've kind of just been establishing him on the main roster, and I get it. People who don't watch NXT might not have known who he was. You didn't want to throw him in the deep end, but he has proved himself on the mid-card. He has proved himself now, so next year, 2025, I need it to be the year of Carmella Hayes. In at number 4, Naomi's win felt like a heel victory. I understand what they were trying to do with the finish to Jax versus Naomi last night, with the Judgment Day evening the odds when Tiffany Stratton tried to cheat. But the fact is, I don't think Tiffany Stratton's cheating was effective enough for it to actually make sense, because Nia Jax was completely screwed in the final sequence. Personally, I would have had Naomi in a situation where she potentially was about to win, and then have Tiffany Stratton distract her or distract the referee, and then bang, the fans are annoyed, you know that there's a potential Naomi was going to win the match anyway. Then from there, you do the exact same thing as you did. The Judgment Day end up costing Nia Jax to try and screw her, and then Naomi gets the win. I would have been completely fine with it. But all they did was have Tiffany Stratton try and hit Naomi with a briefcase before Liv Morgan grabbed it, and it wasn't even a proper distraction. So you came out of the match almost feeling sorry for Nia Jax, because that finish, I mean, she was screwed. I did absolutely love the Rhea Ripley appearance after the match, though, with her taking everyone out to try and get her hands on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, their feud, I love it, and I love the fact that they overlap this feud into other feuds as well. More on that later on. In at number 3, the Meta Girls are indeed meta. These two have so much potential, and I'm going to be honest, until recently I didn't properly realize it. And now I think they genuinely could have serious potential once they get to the main roster. Unfortunately, the match against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, it didn't go very long at all, and I'm kind of gutted about that. But for the short amount of time it went, and more specifically the confidence the Meta Girls showed, I mean, I saw something. And I'm still not sure if the Meta 4 are actually going to be a unit on the main roster. And the reason for that is I feel like they'd get lost very easily in the mid-card. I'm not entirely sure where you'd even slot them in the mid-card, so I'm not entirely sure it's going to happen. But the Meta Girls, on the other hand, I could see. And until Kevin Owens interrupted it, their entrance last night was phenomenal as well. Like I already mentioned, the confidence these two girls have is off the charts. So I'm just gutted everything was so short here, but genuinely, the Meta Girls are two to keep an eye on. In at number 2, the overlap in the SmackDown main event scene right now is phenomenal. Cody is currently feuding with Gunther, of course, for the Crown Jewel Championship, but meanwhile, KO is trying to feud with Cody. Cody's getting distracted, but now Randy Orton has inserted himself, and it's probably going to be Randy versus KO first. But during all of this, we still have the Bloodline story going on in the main event, and Cody is involved in that too, and he still is involved in that. We have Roman and Jimmy and presumably Cody, Jay and Sammy down the line feuding with this new bloodline, and all of these stories, they're overlapping and I love it. Each segment bleeds into the next, it feels so natural and it just feels like a show which is seamless to watch. And when you say it out loud, the amount of feuds that's going on almost sounds confusing, but in execution it doesn't, and that shows how great of a job they're doing with it. The shows go by super fast, each segment literally goes into the next, there's so many stories going on, it's such an easy match, and I'm loving it. SmackDown has been on a roll since moving to USA Network, and I'm really excited for the next few weeks. And every week I come out of the show and I'm like, I'm excited for the next one, which, if I'm being honest, 3-4 months ago, I really wasn't feeling that way. And in at number 1, could we finally see main event Big Jim Jimmy Uso? Last night was the most over I've ever seen Jimmy Uso as a single star, so could he finally be about to get a singles run like his brother did? I really hope so. As if Jimmy retires with all the exact accolades that Jay had, plus then Jay had an extra title reign with Cody, plus an Intercontinental Championship run, I'm going to be gutted for Jimmy. Imagine that, right? You have a twin and you guys win all the same gold, and then they win 2 more pieces of gold compared to you, including a singles piece of gold. I mean, unfortunately for the time being, this is obviously heading towards a War Games, and I'm presuming an Usos reunion, but perhaps after that, could we see Jay go back to Raw, continue his IC title reign, while Jimmy has a bit of a US title reign on SmackDown? Probably not. I think what's more likely, and I hate it, but I think it's going to happen, is Braun Breaker's going to win the title back off Jay in the next couple of weeks, and then Jay's going to get involved in this storyline. The Usos are going to reunite permanently and then challenge GOD. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love that happening, but it's just the fact of, I do feel gutted for Jimmy, and also the Braun Breaker situation, but that's an entirely other matter. I really don't think Jimmy Uso got the praise that he deserved during the entire Bloodline arc with Jey Uso as well, right? Because Jey Uso was getting all the praise, he was the star in it, but Jimmy was involved in all of that too, and he was involved in making Jey feel like the underdog, the babyface, because Jimmy as a heel did a great job. But even if it's not now, although now probably is the most over he's ever going to be, I long-term hope he does get a singles run, even if it's for like a week or something, just so they retire with the same accolades or just something like that. Even if there's one more title run Jay has, that's fine. But come on, let's give Jimmy a United States Championship or something. That's all for this week, but if you did enjoy, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'll be back tomorrow with my thoughts on AEW Wrestle Dream. See you guys then. Peace.